Okay, we're about to boot up into our Nix system. Some things got edited since last time. I think only small things, so updated cursor theme, which was I think pretty big for quality of life to some extent. So now you can see cursor theme's been updated. We're using Rose Pine, the Rose Pine cursor theme, which I think actually looks pretty nice. What else? I changed Walker, so that now it ends up opening from Super M instead of just Super like before. I like the way that Pop on their desktop environment have their kind of menu manager. It opens with Super and it closes with Super, but I didn't want to one, I didn't want to figure out how to do that with Hyperland, and two, which you know, it sounds like it should be really easy, but the second thing was, and this is something that is a little bit more particular to my laptop environment, I think, is that, and because we're using Hyperland, everything is bound to the Super key, and because of that, I was actually opening up the Walker menu a lot more often than I wanted to. Some things that got changed also. Now we have not focus following the mouse, but focus actually on click. So if I click on this terminal, focus will follow that. And I think it's beneficial just because I can use now Vim controls to switch the focus of the window. So if I open up a browser, I can go up, down, left, right. The one thing that is a little bit hard when there's these windows like this is that, so from here, I would actually kind of expect down, as in the Vim command to say switch focus downwards, to for whatever reason actually switch the focus into the top terminal, sitting right above. But if I do it, it actually rotates cyclically over to this terminal. So I think I have to get comfortable with that to some extent. I noticed, actually just now, that this NixOS icon is a bunch of lambdas. So I thought it was obvious that it was a snowflake for whatever flake.nix, the flake system that's used by the community. But I didn't notice that these are just a bunch of lambdas, representing the fact that probably Nix is a functional language where all the functions are anonymous. That's kind of interesting little thing. So what is there left really to customize? Well, of course we have the files, the menu system. I wanted I don't know if I actually care that much, but I wanted to switch the icons out for this file manager. So just going back to maybe GNOME's original file, and let me check what it looks like in Pop really quick. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit more recognizable in Pop. Yeah, just the blue icon folders. Okay. And then there's some small things. So what's a small thing that I think needs to be done? If right now, if I change the brightness on my laptop, so here's increasing brightness, here's decreasing brightness, you'll notice that nothing happened. Even though you can't see my first workspace, which might be the primary location for things to happen, still nothing happened other than, well, the brightness changed. what I would like is actually to have the brightness indicator. So when I uptick brightness, or if I decrease it, then actually that's something notifies me that that's happening. That would be nice. And when I shut down right now, to shut down I have to run sudo system control power off and then enter my password. I'd like a script that does this and also is accessible by like clicking the battery or something up in the top right hand corner. So I can click the battery and then have options for restart and power off. Okay, but even maybe more important is that currently my computer has no idle and has no system lock. So we're gonna try to mess around with Hyprland, Hypridle, Hypercursor, and change the style or themes in Walker. That's like what we're doing today, to some extent. So first of all, let's just try to go find. God, can I not get? I don't think this will actually save because I have cookies not saving by default. But let's, for now, stay signed out. So idle management daemon. Configuration is done via the config file at hypridle. Config file is required. Hypridle won't run without one. We just have to add exec1's Hypridle. Command to run when receiving a dbus lock event. Unlock command to run when receiving a dbus unlock event. Command to run when the session gets locked by a lock screen app. The general inhibit sleep option is used to make sure Hypridle can do certain tasks before the system goes to sleep. Options 3, make your system wait until the session gets locked by a lock screen app. This works with all Wayland session icons. You know what I just remembered actually? Is that currently my laptop is not using secure boot. This is actually something that we want to do also, is make it so that it boots up with Lonza boot, which is a boot signer. So I'll have to register some certain public keys that will hopefully be recognized by BIOS or something, whatever it needs in order to start up a secure boot, and then I can get rid of this like red bar that's kind of annoying every time I load my computer. That one's a little bit nerve-wracking because that's like, I think that's actually like a prime spot where I could brick the laptop. Just like register a key incorrectly, and then there's no private key that corresponds to it that I own, and then all of a sudden I can't boot in. That would suck. So we should stage commit our home directory, because I think that I should still have access to the Windows secure boot keys if they my laptop is a Surface laptop, and so I think that at the very least I could maybe, I don't think that'll be totally locked out of the system, but I think I could be locked out of this NixOS and then have to reinstall. Okay, so at some point I'm gonna have to do that. Makes your system wait until the session gets locked by lock screen. Selects either 3 or 1. Turn on Hypridle detects, makes the system wait until Hypridle launched general before sleep command, disables sleep inhibition. Hypridle uses listeners to define actions on idleness. Every listener has a timeout after idling for timeout seconds on timeout will fire. Example listener. You're idle, welcome back. Okay, so I think that what I want to do is, yeah, so what do I want the idle daemon to do? It wouldn't be bad if it went to the lock screen after a set amount of time. Sleeping would also be nice if the whole computer could go into a sleep session. So I need to configure Hyprlock, I'm sure. Suspend. How am I going to suspend? Timeout on the brightness, that's totally fine to me. Login, control, lock session. Lock the screen after some time has passed. Hyper control, dispatch DPMS off. So DPMS, I imagine, is like display something something. So screen off when timeout has passed. Screen on when activity is detected after timeout has fired. Like, that's not bad, honestly. And then suspend after 30 minutes. Yeah, so I think this would go even a little bit earlier. Okay, we're probably going to look at this example config in a second. But for now, let's see what this is all about. So configuration is done via the Hyprlock config. This file has to exist to run Hyprlock, which we currently don't have that, I'm sure. Hyprlock uses the following types in addition to Hyperland's variable types: layout, XY. Hides cursor instead of making it visible. Skips validation when no password is provided. Makes Hyprlock immediately start to draw widgets. Backgrounds will render. Sets if the text should be trimmed, useful to avoid trailing new line in commands output. Whether to use fractional scaling. Screen copy, select screen copy mode. Failed timeout. Milliseconds till the UI resets after a failed authentication launch. So PAM is something about authentication, whether to enable PAM authentication. Sets the PAM module used for authentication. What is that? Personal authentication module? What does PAM stand for? If the module isn't found in etc. pam.d, SU will be used as fallback. Enables parallel fingerprint auth with fprintd. Sets the message that will be displayed. Animations. We got whether to enable animations. So on Arch, which we're not using, Hyprlock integrates with PAM-base through PAM fail lock, which forces a 10-minute timeout after 3 failed unlocks. If you would like to change this, refer to Arch Linux Wiki. Keyboard shortcuts and actions. Monitor selection. Monitor is available, blah, blah, blah. Variable substitution. Widget list. Some widgets are clickable, label, image, and shape. You can launch arbitrary commands when clicking on them. Background. Draws a background image or fills with color. So I want to use the same wallpaper, which I could just point to the same file, I think. image, draws the image. Shape, input field, colors, blah, 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 dynamic labels, user symbols. So let's go to the example. Font monospace, general hide cursor is false. Animations, background, input field. Time, date, label. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, I think. What's the questionableness of this? So input field, input password, dot 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 dot. Field text Pam fail. So I'm not sure if I have Pam enabled. Where would this be? Oh, I do. Looks like. I don't even have to look anymore. Let me go into Pam here. So I think I won't show you this, but I don't see anything that's troubling for like username password authentication. So let's go to Henry Sips. This is what we have been doing. Just see what this Omarchi build looks like. So here's one thing that I also think I should do. How do I swap windows with so we're going NixOS. Fuck. And I want to go into Hyprland and see just my key bindings. So I should be able to switch windows, like swap the one that's in focus with the one that's out of focus over here. So that's the keybind that I do want. Hyperland, keybinds, swap, focus windows. Not move focus, but swap windows. So I don't know if that's already, it's not already implemented. We want to go to Hyprland's config and check if swap window. So I don't trust all of the Gemini prompts lately. Or would it be probably binds, I guess? Or dispatchers? Or window rules? So swaps the active window with another window in the given direction. Moves the active window in a direction or to a monitor. For floating windows, moves the window to the screen edge. Okay, so I guess I can just bind this like this. So let's swap windows. So I think we can do something like this. And the only thing that I want to know is that when I am setting a bind, does shift have to be capitalized? So does control have to be capitalized also? This one might actually be in bind, right? For an arbitrary combination of multiple keys, separate key sims with and between each mod key and use the S flag. For an arbitrary combination of multiple keys, so you can use a single mod with multiple keys. This is probably what I wanted for. So the L flag locked will also work when an input inhibitor, e.g. lock screen, is active. So bind supports flags in this format. So when I was doing the menu, so if I do Super M and escape, I think that don't know. What about key sims combos? What's this? For an arbitrary combination of multiple keys. So I can't just do So I can't tell if I want to do Control Super, just Super Alt. I think I want to just do Super Alt. So let's just try this. We'll do main mod, Alt, and then H, and we'll do swap window. Where was the... Gosh, I don't remember. These are in the same though, so it's in here somewhere. Okay, swap window. And then we're supposed to put the direction, so like L. And let's just copy this. And add the alt. I don't know the commands to replace all of these. Like the macro to keep on repeating, so I'm just gonna do it myself. Okay, and then let's see if that works. So in the meantime, we can find the hyper cursor. Hyprlock, sorry. Okay, so now it should just be good to go, I guess. If we just do, oh, that worked. Oh, sweet. So now we can shift focus, so this way, and then swap, and then shift focus this way. So now actually doing J and K doesn't do anything, but if I have focus and I just want to change focus, J and K still changes focus. So I think that's weird. But maybe there's a setting to like not let that happen to some extent. This is cool though. So I'm gonna enjoy that while we're doing it. Henry Sips Hyprlock. So we've got some dynamic coloring still. Hyprlock is just enabled. Settings, general, disable loading bar. No fade-ins, false authentications, fingerprint enabled. I'm not gonna have that. Background. Monitor selected wallpaper path. Input field, monitor position, H-align, inner color, outer color, outline thickness, font family, font size, font color, placeholder, label, monitor, text, print. Okay. How does that compare with I actually kind of don't like the gestures for going back, because I find that like I often try to doing this and then I just like go back on accident. And I know I can turn that off, but like it's a little bit of a pain. Don't want to turn it off all the time. Okay. So I was trying to go into Hyprlock, and here's the sample. So they have a general hide cursor is false. They've got animations, background, input field, and then they have time even, and date, and label. So what does the Hyprlock label do? Label. So label, image, and shape. Not sure if that's actually the same. Label, shadowable, clickable. Draws a label. Okay. Well, we could probably copy this mostly verbatim. So let's just see what my home.nix looks like again. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna just import a Hyprlock configuration, or we're just gonna paste this into here? I think that I will so what's going on with the waybar? I've got two things here which look kind of weird. So this is, I think, something that's a little bit more normal. So like it's a little bit weird. I've got enabled is true for this programs.waybar enabled is true, and then I also have it set in home.nix. So I think I could get rid of it in home.nix, and that shouldn't be a problem. I think I'm gonna add Hyprlock configuration and quit that, and then make a directory. Actually, probably could do it in Hyprland, right? So let's do this instead. go into home.nix and change this to Hyperland. Okay, it's fine. So we're gonna do config packages dot dot dot, and then programs Hyprlock enable. It's gonna be true. We'll have some settings. This is something that I think the authentication. We'll have to see what the fingerprint option does, because I don't know if it overrides the normal mode of authentication or if that's something that you just add on additionally. So most of this I'm actually okay with just copying, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. Other than I need to change my I just need to change the colors and the fonts, I think. So let's just copy all of it. And we'll deal with the that one's for label, this one's for settings, this one's for Hyprlock, and then this one ends. That's actually true. Okay. Cascadia Mono Nerd Font is not what we're gonna use. We're using, I think it's Ubuntu Mono. We can figure that out though, going to, what is actually using it right now? Waybar's using it. But it's in the themes, isn't it? So we're using Ubuntu Mono Nerd Font. We had to figure that out. We had to figure out what was. We had to figure out where that was located in the Nix store before we could use it. That was a little bit of a pain, but now we know. Okay, Ubuntu Mono Nerd Font Mono. And Mono. Auth. Is there anything needed actually in the example? So am I even in Hyprlock? No, which one is? So authentication, variables in the auth category. PAM enabled when whether to enable PAM authentication. Bool default is true. Enables parallel fingerprint auth. That I actually want to be false. I'll just get rid of the auth. I think that's fine. wallpaper path is what? Where's our wallpaper set in this? It's in Hyperpaper? That's not true. We're actually setting it with Sway BG. So it's maybe in home. Nope. It's you know where it is. It's in Hyperland. Maybe look and feel. It is a look. It's crazy. Force default wallpaper. Where else would it be? Environment variables? No. Windows and workspaces? Programs? Permissions? No. Monitors? Maybe. Windows and workspaces? No, I don't think so. Fuck. Just striking out. Just the hyper base config, maybe? No. Oh, auto start. Yeah, how would you ever know that? I'm not sure. Do I want blur? I kind of do want some blur for the path, the background path. So we'll do like 2 passes, see how that looks. And I don't think we have to set how wide the blur is. Inner color, outer color. In Henry Sips, this is, I think, part of the default. So we could use our waybar color. This is something that would be nice to set dynamically, but probably what's going to happen is I'm going to get to the end of this and then I'm going to think, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. So I'll have to stop. What's my new Vim thing look like in? It's gonna be a little bit conflicting, the color schemes. It's fine. So we'll try going to what style on waybar? And copy some of these things. I guess it's in theme. So let's see, inner color. I mean, fuck it, right? Like just feel like we can just copy some of these, but I don't know the... we need to change some of this to RGB probably, because I don't think hex codes work in Hyprland. Maybe they do. We'll try it. RGB 24273A. Outer color. We're gonna do RGB CA D3F5. And that should be fine. Font color. RGB CAD 3F5. Maybe even something lighter. A5 ABCE. Foreground muted RGB. What is this? What is that? I think it's supposed to be a box in Henry Sips. But here we have a like a virus looking thing. Okay, placeholder color. This was supposed to be a lighter variant, was what they said. So let's do this one. 363 A4F, and then I don't want any of this. I can't tell what it is or is doing. So let's go to the Hyprlock example. Try to figure out what we want instead. So we'll just do this. Do the same kind of text as before. So alright, let's just fucking save it. I don't remember where it was. I gotta take my headphones out though. Okay, headphones, sometimes they just like one of them will go in and out. We need to figure out what the RGB values are for these. That's not hard. We can just do some kind of conversion. This is probably a bit too manual, which is okay for us at the moment. So we'll do, let's see. This is 36, 39, 58. And I think this should be fine. Yeah. CAD 3F5. This one's 202, 211, 245. A5A DCE. Is 165, 173, 206. $165, 173, 206. And the last one is 363 AF4. A4F. So this is 54, 58, 79. Okay. Is that gonna work this time? Just waste a bunch of time because I just forgot to put a semicolon somewhere. Is that the same spot? Is that a different spot? It's technically a different spot. Ah! I didn't mean to do that. I think that's okay though. Canceling a build in Nix as far as I'm aware, because it all goes to temp and then gets deleted once you cancel. Because build happens in the temp folder. Okay, evaluation boarded. Generators that make value string. This value is not supported. Wallpapers, Nix D ord. This value is not supported. Okay, looks good. Nothing changed, which is what we would have expected. Although now we should be able to enter Hyprlock, and let me try it on Workspace 1, see what even happens. Okay. That doesn't look terrible. Other than what? So I don't like the, there's a bunch of things that I am not a huge fan of. So, let's just check it out first. So when I, okay, so there's a bunch of things that I got actually as, errors, but I gotta be right back. Okay, so here is the thing. So we got a bunch of errors in config options. So input field font size doesn't exist, input field placeholder color doesn't exist, and disable loading bar and no fade in. All of these things don't exist. So is this Hyprlock? That's just variables, binds, dispatchers, Hyprlock. Yeah, these don't exist anymore, huh? No fade in. So let's close this. Go here. Okay, general. So we have certain animations that can be enabled and not enabled. Let's check the, I'm gonna delete this. Or at least I'm gonna close out of it. I don't want that fingerprint icon. 1, 2. I'm going to get rid of some of these things. Let's find general first. Oh, this is dispatchers. We want here general. So we can have hide cursor, immediate render. Makes Hyprlock immediately start to draw widgets. Backgrounds will render until their dispatch resources available. Text trim, fractional scaling, screen copy, field timeout. Don't want any of that. So we'll just get rid of all these. Those were errors in the first place. We'll leave it as empty. I think that's fine, actually. So background, I didn't see anything on the background. Monitor to draw on. That seems like probably should just be default. Path. Image path, screenshot, or empty to fill with color. color. We don't have anything here. Blur passes, blur size, noise, contrast, brightness modulation for blur, reload time, reload, Z index. So what does brightness do here? Brightness modulation for blur. Don't know what that did. The other thing that we didn't have is input field. So there's nothing for apparently placeholder color and font size. So we can just delete this, and this I guess we can also delete. What does the example look like? And I'm kind of wondering if like alt tabbing, control tabbing cycles, okay. So then it was proceeding, ignoring the faulty entries, eventually got to something, and had another error. PAM module does not exist, so then it fell back to sectorpam.dsu. Pam.d Hyprlock does not exist. So NixOS. Okay. I'm not sure if that one mattered. Image could not be loaded. Unrecognized image. That I don't like. Render image. No Cairo surface. So unrecognized image is one thing. So I have it as an SVG file, but I think that's maybe the format is not good. So let's just try changing it to a PNG. I wonder if I can just wonder if I can save as PNG. So I don't know if this will change the format, you know? Does that work? It's just corrupted now. It's a PNG image. Weirds me out, but not gonna think about it too much. So this is everything that I think should be changed at the moment, except for I want to, I think, just copy the date and time here. And I kind of want to get rid of this. Although now I don't. Okay, so what was it? I don't think you can have two of these. So you just get one, I think. How can I change this? So position. Let's see what happens if we do -30, 0. And just try reloading. So something that was weird was is it in here as Datsu? The default to Sue is what I remember. Sets the PAN module used for authentication. If the module isn't found in this, Sue will be used as fallback. And I forgot, but I wanted to enable animations. But they are enabled by default. Okay, let's try it then. Okay, that's not what we want. Okay, so what errors did we get here? Okay. So the thing that was not great was that the time was over the fucking enter password. So we want that to go away. Which means that we have to find the oh yeah, so we had some maybe image problems before from this. I think that it's okay to assume the first input is horizontal positioning and the second input is vertical positioning. If we're centering. So let's do like 300. And if it's centered, I expect that to go up. I think I had it at negative 100 before, following Henry Sipp's setup. And that wasn't centered, so it could be that minus will go up and that positive is down. Let's see. We can just try it, right? Okay, yeah, so actually positive was upwards, and enter password is not centered very well. That's like the only thing though that we have problematic at the moment. There was one error in the log still. There are two errors. Okay. I'm not sure what this one is. Okay, so let's make, so I want to know how we can get multiple widgets, which I would kind of believe we just needed to specify widget.clock. In our settings right now, we've got background input field label. So we could do widget.clock, apply to all monitors, other clock settings, input field widget. I think it's fine enough. Okay, so what is the reason for having weird centering? Is it just that we've got some weird placeholder text? And this is kind of big, right? So make this a 3. And then I think this could be bigger even, like 140. Positioning is a little bit high too, so we'll do like 250. And then I think this box is the last thing that I would want to make smaller. So I don't know, 400 and 80. Okay, then it's probably not bad, right? Oh wait, I didn't. Fuck. I didn't. I wonder what Pam even does or is for. You configure two-factor authentication, LDAP, AD, encrypted home directories, and automatic keychain unlock. Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate that. Okay, it just goes to it really quick. That's maybe the only thing that I would say that I could get in is just a fade in. I mean, this is like a super not important thing to have a functional desktop environment, but it's okay. So want, I guess, animations. So fade in is the only one that I think that I would want. So that's not like a variable that we have. Available animations can be found in the animation tree, the optional style. The animation and Vizier keywords can be used just like okay, let's try just copying the animation path. So I just saw this. So this is going to be enabled. Bezier is going to be linear 1, 1, 0, 0. We're going to have animation is fade in. That's going to be enabled with 1, 5 linear. Animation. I can't have animation, 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 right? So we need to go to find the Nix packages options. So this is Hyprlock. We want options, so Nix packages, animations. I think there is a way to do this. You do it like this. Okay, so I think you do this, and set like that. This is what we're gonna try. So we'll have fade in, fade out, and input field dots. I don't know what that does. And then because I just remembered that this is how you do something, we can also try it with label now. I don't know how I do it with label. Okay, it's probably not gonna work considering it's a little bit ad hoc. So let's see what happens. And then in the meantime, I could probably try finding so definitely we've got some things around that look like this. It passed. Where would we find some of these things? So keyboard, key bindings would be one. Here we've got, yeah, like, so like bind L. This is something that we, so brightness up and brightness down does set some changes. it just doesn't display a notification daemon, so tell me that like I've actually changed the brightness. It's nice because you can physically see the brightness, but it would be kind of cool to know like what percentage it's at. I'm not sure how to do the label in this way. Label equals blah, and then have a bunch of blah. We could do it with I'm not sure. Let's try the Hyprlock now. Okay, it went in, and if we go out, we went out. So that was actually pretty good. No errors. Try it again. Wrong. Okay, it's a little bit slow. I think that's the only thing that I would say. I would want it to fade in and fade out a little bit faster. So we can check for what these numbers are on the animations, and that's the last thing that I think I'll try for. So animation typically goes by on-off speed. Speed is the amount of ds, which is 100 microseconds that the animation will take. So we were doing half a second, and honestly, like 2 is probably good in my mind. And then what does input field dots do? Is that just like loading the input field? I'm gonna clear my I'm probably gonna do a garbage collect after this, I think, and then try to maybe stage my Git repo that houses the configuration. Okay, so that's a little bit too fast, isn't it? Yeah. We also don't know what the dots does still. Okay, let's do fade in. It's gonna be something more like 4. This is so minor, but it's okay. Okay, ready? Fades in. Fades out. Fades in. Too fast. Fades out. Okay, that's totally fine with me. Now we just need to go to keybinds to see if we actually have a way to lock. We at the moment don't. It's fine. So Hypridle I think is the last one that we need to fuck with. And this one we can go to Henry Sips. NixOS. Okay, so we put this in Home Manager, enabling Hypridle. Settings generally, PIDOF, I'm not sure what that is. Command line utility in Unix used to find process IDs, okay. So we find the process ID of Hyprlock. Or we call Hyprlock. For sleep, we do log in control lock session. After sleep, hyper control dispatch DPMS on. Listener timeout, timeout. So hyperctl is something that I'm not sure if I have. Configured. Okay. What do I have to add? I've got Hypridle already in there. So here we don't have to add anything. We can just go straight into this and find just any spot we want to put services.enable. So this is for Hypridle, and we're going to enable it. We're going to put some settings. Our lock command is going to be find the PID of Hyprlock, or call Hyprlock. Before sleep, we'll do login CTL lock session. And that, I think, is something that I actually want to find out what it is. What is login control? Login control may be used to introspect and control the state of systemd login manager. Okay. After sleep command is going to be hyper control dispatch DPMS on. And we'll have a listener. Timeout is 300. On timeout, that's 5 minutes. So login CTL lock session. I'm going to change this to 10 minutes. I wonder if wonder what that really enables, honestly. Good call. Okay. So we have two timers, one 10 minutes in that will lock the session, and then another one 11 minutes in, which will turn the session, I think, essentially into... Actually, I don't know what hypercontrol dispatch DPMS off or on is. So on timeout, it should turn, I think DPMS off would just turn the display off. So to avoid having to press a key twice to turn on the display, that's what hypercontrol dispatch DPMS on is. Hypercontrol dispatch DPMS off, then I guess we have to hit a key twice to turn the display on. Screen off when timeout has passed, right? And then screen on when activity is detected after timeout is fired. And finally, I actually want to add this too. It's just we'll do we'll do 15 minutes, I guess. So 15 times 60 is 900. We'll just do 1800 also, fuck it. And on this one, we'll do systemctl suspend also. One thing that I don't know about this is so what happens if this is called normally? Okay. Enter a key, what happens? Nothing, click. 2 keys. Bunch of keys. Eventually power on. Okay, so we had to power on for that. Not like launch, but just hit the power button. So this is something that I'm not sure about with my laptop, but different suspends laptop. So I'm kind of curious, like, so mine's a Surface Laptop 4, suspension. Let's see, I want to see, I guess I'm trying to find out, like, oh, there's also sleep, right? This is different, I think. Let's try, Just reading the man pages. System control may be used to introspect and control the state of the system. D, system service manager. Fuck, it's pretty late. I should probably eat lunch. List units that system D currently has in memory. State, we've got active, inactive, failed, activating, deactivating, maintaining, reloading, refreshing. So we've got restart, stop, and then start one or more specified units on the command line. If the units are not running yet, they will be started. Try, restart, reload, or restart, isolate, kill, clean. Freeze, thaw, freeze one or more units specified on the command line using a C group freezer. Bind, mount. What does bind do? Bind mounts a file or directory from the host. Enable, disable, re-enable. Environment commands. System commands. We've got halt, shut down, or and halt the system. This is mostly equivalent to system control start, halt, target. Power off, shuts down and power offs the system. This is mostly equivalent to system control start, power off, target, irreversibly no block. Reboot kexec, shut down and reboot the system via kexec. This command will load a kexec kernel if one was not loaded yet or fails. Kernel may be loaded earlier by a separate step. This is particularly useful for custom init.rd or additional kernel command line options are desired. Soft reboot, shut down and reboot user space. Exit, ask the service manager to quit. Switch root, suspends the system. This will trigger activation of the special target unit, suspend.target. Hibernate the system. This will trigger activation of the special target, hibernate. Hybrid sleep, hibernate and suspend the system. Suspend then hibernate. So let's do suspend versus hibernate. Sleep keeps the system in a low power state, storing data in RAM for quick wake times, but it still consumes battery power. Hibernate saves the RAM contents to the hard drive, shuts down the system, offering the best power savings, but with a lower, slower wake time. Hybrid sleep combines both. So suspend is sleep, I guess, right? The system enters a low power state, keeping data in RAM. So this is what I think I want, is suspend then hibernate. It will not wait for the sleep, wake up, hibernate, thaw cycle to complete. Let's try then hyperland, suspend, then sleep. What was it set as already? We were in home, right? So I think I can just add here. Suspend and sleep. Can I search? Suspend. Suspend then hibernate. Okay, let's try it. So okay, we're gonna run this, and then we're gonna make some lunch and wait the. I mean, okay, ideally we're not gonna wait 10 minutes. Okay, we're gonna wait 10 minutes. We're gonna see just what the lock system does, and see if it automatically triggers an event if we just don't do anything for that amount of time. Yeah, so close out some of these things, and then the last thing to do, I think, is to do some theming in Walker, and then we would also ideally want to make it dynamic, so taking everything that we've done so far and writing a script that will dynamically choose colors, for example, for the system. But I think getting the system working and looking nice first is like a great first step. Like we're pretty much there. Once Walker looks nice and is like usable, then we configure NVim, NeoVim. Figure out how we actually get LSB compatibilities. So I was using Mason on Pop, and in NixOS I think it's not so clear how I'm going to do this, but there's probably some already made Nix packages for LSB configuration, and we'll look through that, see if we can find anything. Then I can download just everything that I need for work, and we'll be like, I think, pretty good setup, at least for actually having a working system. So it only took from start to finish. I mean, I know that this says day number 6 in NixOS, but there was like a period of like 4 days where my girlfriend's dad was visiting, and I didn't stream at all during that. I just read. So you can add on like another 4 days, and then we just did some stuff for a few days, so you can add on that time too. So it probably took about 2 weeks from deciding to install NixOS to actually having like a configurable, personally made desktop environment. It probably took about 2 weeks, and it's going to take a few more days even, I think, to iron out the final touches and like get a script that will enable us to power off by clicking the battery icon, for example, or something. Like, there's still a lot of small details to go, but that's where we're at. So I'm gonna go grab some food. We're gonna see if this goes into Hyprlock, and then go from there. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, I guess. So we entered the lock screen. Oh, it's in 24-hour time too. That's a little bit weird. But I guess kind of normal. Okay. So we'll do one more minute to see, I think, screen go off and see what happens there. And then I've just been messing around with oh, okay, screen went off. So now if I hit a key, it comes back, great. And I can just log in. Awesome. Okay, so that's like we're in actually a good place. We have basically all of the things that we need, I think, so far.